Hello my friends and welcome to my studio. Today I'm going to fill a sketchbook spread with portraits of literature characters based on the description in the books they are coming from and a little bit of my imagination. If you're new here, hi, I'm Radost, and through this channel I'd like to share with you my art journey. So if you like such content, consider subscribing. Thank you. What I like about books is that they feed your imagination and give you freedom. Freedom to create a character or a place based on the author's descriptions, but refracted through your own understandings and beliefs. If I already warn you on this one, let's get started.
Our first character is a child of about 11. Extending down her back were two braids of very thick, decidedly red hair. Her face was small, white and thin, also much freckled. Her mouth was large and so were her eyes, which looked green in some lights and moods and grey in others. The sketch of our character I will make with a 4H pencil, as it creates really light lines, and as I am working with watercolour, I prefer it that way. For colouring the portraits, I'm going to use my favourite Windsor Newton Cotman palette. I basically use these two brushes most of the time when I'm working in my sketchbook. Let me tell you more about the character though. When I was a child, accidentally the book came to me, and since I've read it, this red-haired hurricane won my heart. It's a coming-of-age story, and although there are a few books about her, the first one representing her as a child stayed forever in my heart. I wonder if you really already guessed her name? Tell me in the comment section, when did you start recognizing a character? She despises her red hair and dreams of a golden one and perfect skin. Well, that's pretty relatable if you ask me. In my representation, I decided to lift up the braids and show that red hair, not covering it with a hat. But our girl here dreamt not only for perfect skin and hair and clothes, she dreamt for a perfect world. I would like to convey that in her expression, meeting the difficulties in her life with a warm smile. She's left orphan and uses her dreams and fantasies as a shield in the cruel world. But despite all that, she keeps goodness in her heart and passionately defends her beliefs. Arriving at Prince Edward Island, she finds more than her fantasies can describe, and that is real love and family. She is Anne Shirley from Anne of Green Gables. Our next character I'll leave to speak for himself because he has a lot to say in his cynical way. I was 16 then, and I'm 17 now, and sometimes I act like I'm about 13. It's ironical because I'm 6'2" and a half, and I have grey hair. I really do. The one side of my head, the right side, is full of millions of grey hairs. I read this book when I was in my early teens, and it stays in my mind till today. And our controversial character with his red hunting hat, criticizing everything around, including himself. But it was freezing cold, and I took my red hunting hat out of my pocket and put it on. I didn't give a damn how I looked. I couldn't omit his red hat, of course, as it is a symbol. It makes the character unique. It expresses this boy's desire to be different, but still doesn't wear it around people he knows. It's interesting that the color of the hat is also the color of the hair of the boy's brother and sister. Maybe you've noticed the greyish tones of the face. I chose this color combination to express his smoking habit that leads him to bad shape. all this adult stuff that actually doesn't make him an adult. Taking responsibility does. But he's between childhood and adulthood, holding to the past, marked by traumas. I chose to express him looking up as a representation of hope, as he does make a step towards communication with his sister, for example. Hope that he'll go out of the cycle. Did you guess that, anti-hero? That's Holden Caulfield from Catcher in the Rye. Our next character is vaguely described by his neighbor. It was one of those rare smiles with a quality of external reassurance in it that you may come across 4 or 5 times in life. Precisely at that point it vanished, and I was looking at an elegant young roughneck, a year or 2 over 30, whose elaborate formality of speech just missed being absurd. His tanned skin was drawn attractively tight on his face, and his short hair looked as though it were trimmed every day. I thought it would be hard to paint a person without much specification on their appearance, but it's quite easier. This book I've read actually later in life, and I believe it helped me understand more of it. It shows the hollowness of the upper class, the American dream, the life of the rich in the 20s. But for me, it's a novel about having one simple dream. And our character here has that dream. That rare smile described by his friend, I decided to paint more enigmatic, as he stays that way for many people. He's a mysterious figure. For his tight skin, I used mainly warm colors to depict that sun-kissed look. Overall, I wanted his face to radiate mystery and luxury, including that glossy hair look, the impression of a perfect haircut. As our character is rich, although he won his fortune with some shady business. He charms everyone, but his eyes and heart are always somewhere else, and that I wanted to show through his gaze, directed not at the viewer, but at the island his love lives. Like I said, this is a man with a dream, and everything levitates around that dream, but sometimes dreams can be unworthy of us. His idealized dream, he calls love, actually leads to his doom. He is J. Gatsby from The Great Gatsby. For our next character, we have the descriptions made by his best friend. In height, he was rather over 6 feet, and so excessively lean that he seemed to be considerably taller. His eyes were sharp and piercing, save during those intervals of torpor to which I have alluded, and his thin, hawk-like nose gave his whole expression an air of alertness and decision. But there was something in that steady grey eye. Every physical description of this character actually leads to his personality. He is highly concentrated in his work and definitely not a person who wastes time. Highly intelligent and values rational thinking above all else, both in himself and in others. In my teens, I loved these books, and even now they can let me out of a reading slump. And as this character doesn't show emotions, and I'm a highly sensitive and emotional person, I really wanted to be more like him, not to let emotions cloud my judgment. His eyes I chose to look somewhere else, while he is lost in his thoughts. After he's collected all the facts and observations he made, he's absent from the viewer, only physically there, till he finds a solution to a certain problem. Often doing this while smoking his pipe. I slightly curved the stem of this one to fit on the page, but I guess it's okay. I wanted to show his serious expression as he is focused on his work. I could compare him only with an artist obsessed with his art. There is something really fascinating about that. You probably already guessed him, and that's Sherlock Holmes. And the last character here taught me not to judge the book by its cover. She is a white-haired old lady with a gentle, appealing manner, much more dangerous. She was an attractive old lady, tall and thin, with pink cheeks and blue eyes, and a gentle, rather fussy manner. Natural genius cultivated in suitable soil. A really interesting character that amazes me with her ability to blend into the background. Just a sweet old lady with her knitting that leads criminals and people around her to underestimate her. These books are also really good to fight reading slumps, in my opinion, and get you hooked on the story so fast. I chose to portray her looking at us as she's present and observing everything, smiling with her rosy cheeks, but behind these blue eyes she's evaluating us. That grandma vibe that lures you to take off your guard and tell all your secrets while eating homemade cake? But this lady, sweet as she looks, has real knowledge of human nature, her only gift, and deep inside is quite pessimistic about it. She doesn't trust people much. As she says, the worst is so often true. Although with age her character became more forgiving, she also has a sense of justice and can't let anyone wicked to escape. If you're a fan of Agatha Christie, you probably already guessed that this is Miss Jane Marple. She appears in many stories such as The Murder at the Vicarage, The Body in the Library, etc. So these are all 5 characters finished. Tell me which representation you like the most and which character personality. Thank you so much for watching. Till next time. Bye!